Well, this is week 5, week 6 coming up. Actually, you got 5 in the books. What's your assessment of the first half of the season?
A lot of good things, a lot of things we got to continue to improve upon, and you know what we talked about as a staff this week was, you know, there's a lot of things that are very positive that we can take away even from a loss on Friday night, where you know we looked at one point in time, and sometimes as coaches we lose focus of this, but at one point in time we only had 2 kids out on the field that had any playing experience, any varsity experience last year on our offense, and we just kept talking about how much better sometimes it is after you go through games like this, and your kids get to be in a firestorm like what we were in, and we can go into the film room and we can go through things and correct that technique and change some things up. So to me, there's a lot of upside to the second half of the season, and we kind of knew, you know, we were going to be in the gauntlet, you know, as soon as we started the NBC, and you know, it doesn't get any easier with Alliance this week, and going to West Branch and Salem coming here and all that kind of stuff. But I'm very proud of our young men and the way they handled some things, and obviously there's some things we got to do better, and we're going to continue to work on that.
Okay, and on paper, this is a very young team. You know, they hadn't had a whole lot of varsity experience for most of these kids.
Yeah, and you know, I've had to this week take a real look at some things, and like I was saying, I even had to apologize to the kids, because you know, sometimes as coaches we get caught up into the talent of the team, and we forget sometimes how young we are, and yes, we have great senior leadership, but some of these seniors didn't get a whole lot of playing time because we were so senior strong last year, and so there's a lot of these moments that this is their first time going through them, and sometimes it's hard to fix things. Like last week, it wasn't that we didn't give effort. We fought our butts off. It was just the fact that what they were doing to us defensively, I think we were just struggling to understand and to comprehend it from a young status. And they were very senior strong, and guys that had been playing for 2-3 years, and they were a very, very good defense. And so, to me, to be in those kind of fires and those kinds of things, you know, and being so young, it does take its toll at times. But it doesn't take away from the effort and the heart that our kids put into it. You know, the fact is we didn't play our best game, and we were down 7 points for 3 quarters, and we didn't play our best game. So imagine if we would have played a good game, you know, where we could have been at. But I don't question the effort that the kids put in. I don't question. I just think that we were. There was a little bit of the experience thing that is going to go a long way for the rest of the season and into next year and the year after that. It's very, very vital and very important. You know, and it was frustrating as a coach to you know, it seemed like everything that we called, you know, they had an answer for it, and you know, we couldn't give our quarterback time to throw the ball. When there was time, we would run a wrong route. You know, which was frustrating because kids are trying to make plays, and they've got to understand, being young, when we call a certain route, you can't change the route because you think it's not going to be there, because what's going to happen is it's going to open it up for someone else. And so we had a couple of mistakes like that where Zaid threw a pick, and it wasn't Zaid's fault. It was the receivers not running the right route, not the one that was called. And so there's things like that we got to fix. But again, it wasn't an effort thing. It was just a young mistake, and learning and understanding this game. It is a complex game, and there's a lot to it. And they got to understand every moving part matters. So.
Well, it's Friday night's homecoming. The adrenaline's going to be high. Going to be a lot of excitement. Going to be a big crowd there. And you got Lions coming in to put 60 points on the board the other night.
Yeah.
That must have been an awful game to watch. 60-41. You know, 100 points scored by 2 teams.
You know, it was actually, there was a lot of plays that, you know, as a coach watching film, there was a lot of plays we'd rewind and we'd laugh. I mean, it was an exciting game. It was. The Lions have some electrifying players. They have some kids that can absolutely athletically just get it done. And we've got to do, again, going back to who we are, we've got to be a very disciplined defense, and take away some of those things and not give them their big moments. But as we've talked to our kids, we can't expect this team who's filled with athletes to not make plays. this game is about making plays, and so you can't go into a game like this and think that those athletes aren't going to do the things that athletes do. So it goes back to, like we've said every week, it's about us doing our job and us getting better. And I think our kids, the thing is we're 3-2. We've had a couple of rough bouts, but we have everything that we want in front of us. We can still have a very good season. We can still possibly make the playoffs. We can still win the league championship. We can still do so many goals. But we've got to start taking care of some of these small things, and part of that is going in and doing our job on Friday night. So, and I feel like if we do that, we're going to be okay. So.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Eric,
Appreciate
and good luck Friday night.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Go Warriors.
Go.